Here you have perhaps the most valuable 16 acres on the face of the earth. And suddenly, it's gone.
As I look at that pile, I say to myself, it's time to get on with life. It's time to rebuild.
The sky will become home again to a towering spire, 1,776 feet tall.
The truth of the matter is, it was never going to be anything but, a battle royale.
We place here today the cornerstone, the foundation of a new tower, proudly declaring our steadfast allegiance to freedom.
It's one thing to make a ceremonial gesture, another one is to build a reality.
So that was the site 2 years ago, and today, ouch.
2 years ago, the 20-ton cornerstone of the Freedom Tower was put in place during a formal ceremony. Today, that same stone was quietly removed and taken back to the shop in Long Island where it had been engraved.
My joke was always to drive it to Pataki's house, and put it on his front lawn, ring the doorbell, and drive away as fast as you can.
The people who gathered immediately to try to shape the site included the usual cast of characters: the developer, the governor, the mayor.
You've got competing architects. You have the families of the bereaved.
You had the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation. You had the Port Authority.
You've got just an unbelievable cacophony of voices.
How could you build on a sacred ground? The whole site should be a memorial.
No one constituency, whether it was the residents or the shop owners or even the victim's family, could dictate the solution. And from the beginning, I was pretty pessimistic that this could actually be corralled.
The Port Authority, which owns the site, accused Silverstein of making outrageous last-minute demands minutes before the midnight deadline imposed by the governor.
We're not going to make a short-sighted deal with Larry Silverstein.
There came a time when negotiations with the port collapsed. Next thing I know, in the New York Times, Governor to Larry Silverstein, stand aside. You're obstructing progress at the site. Right? Oh my God.
And it is pitiful. The only place they can find for our loved ones' unidentified remains is the basement of an underground museum.
We knew he was always going to be either a policeman or a fireman. It was just, as they say, it's in the Irish. We were definitely hoping that the site could, say, be a green field of, remembrance.
The symbol memorial has undergone significant changes since it was first unveiled in November.
There's an emotion that as soon as you lose a loved one that is very different than an emotion that you have 5 and 10 and 20 years later.
He's a man that cast us aside and made us seem like we couldn't get over our grief.
There are many ways that New York City as a whole could have reacted to the redevelopment. There are more humane ways and more gracious ways and classier ways and more generous ways.
We fought bitterly. We then, in the spirit of negotiation, came together. So it's been a 3-part Shakespeare play with Larry Silverstein.
You have to sort of develop a very thick skin. And criticism, white noise.
You can say that, oh, that's awful, we should have had something really special there. Or you can say, what a wonderful thing that New York healed this big wound with more New York.
You step on an anthill, the ants rebuild the anthill. This is in our DNA. It's this drive, this absolute refusal to stay down when you get knocked down.
We weren't destroyed in that horrible act. In fact, we came back and built it better.
In the end, it's a struggle for New York to get its city back.